All right. Went to the doctor today. My mom got Parkinson's, and tragic that she had it because she was a great golfer and always just doing crazy things. She made a New Year's resolution. She'd play golf every single day. There was a picture of her, I think, in a local paper. She had cross-country skis on and her golf bag over her shoulder as she skied over to St. David Country Club to hit golf balls. She painted them pink. She had a little shovel, and she'd stand out there in the snow and hit golf balls. So Parkinson's took her ability to play golf and then, walk. We had to take her car away. It was terrible. My brother then tells me that he's got it. So I was like, oh, crap. So I call the Parkinson's Foundation. I call them up, and I'm like, okay, so I got this thing. I got these family things. What do you think? They said, well, you should go see this doctor. So I went to see him today. That was very interesting. He said, look, it's in your family, so you got about, 50, 60, 70% chance of getting it. I said, oh, my God, what am I going to do? He says, well, just live your life. You should try to reduce stress. You should get plenty of sleep. You should exercise. I do all those things. Have a nice social network. Don't be isolated and depressed. I said, will this stop it? He goes, well, we don't know. We don't know if you actually have it. You have a better chance of getting it. We don't know when it could kick in. It could kick in a year from now. It might never kick in. You might be 80 and something else might get you first. So he goes, I can't really answer your question if you all I could just tell you to do is just live your life and be healthy. Right. And it was interesting because when I first started to think about, if I get tested for it and if I do have it, what changes will I make to my life? And Nick said to me, well, why do you need to have a disease in order to live a better life? Why don't you just start to take more time for us, not work so hard, not work 6 days a week, cut back on the auctions and enjoy your life? Because I always joke that I'm going to be able to afford a really nice coffin. That's funny at first, but then I think about it later on. I got to work myself into the grave, right? Yeah. So he said, at this point, because you're not exhibiting any signs, to go through a test and stuff, we can't really catch. The tests are not 100% either way. So
didn't you guys make a list of the
I did on New Year's Eve. I was making a whole list of all the stuff I wanted to do if I happen to have it. And then Nick took the list and said, I have an idea. Screw the Parkinson's. Why don't you just do all this stuff anyway? But I think human beings like to have a deadline. I know I'm deadline driven. So it's like if I know that I have something bad, then I will start to make changes. Right? I think I told the story one other time. I met this guy one time over at the Issaquah Cafe. He recognized me. He said, you did a story on me at EV Magazine 15 years ago. And I said, oh, what story was it? And he told me, he said, oh, I remember that. Yeah. How you doing? Oh, I'm great. I'm doing great. I've never been better. He said, I've got pancreatic cancer. I'm going to be dead in 2 months. And I thought he was kidding the way he said it. And then I said, can I have lunch with you? So we sat and had lunch, and Rye was with me. He was too young to appreciate what I was saying to the guy, what I wanted to learn from him. But he explained to me. He said, take me from the very beginning, the first day when you went in there. He said it was a Tuesday. It was in the morning. I went in, and they told me that I have pancreatic cancer, and then they tell you how long you have to live. And he said for about a week, I was really just struggling with it in my own mortality. And then after about 10 days, all of a sudden I felt free. I said, free. Yeah, free of everything that enslaves you, other people's opinions, how you feel about yourself, judging everything, and being concerned with, my status in life or what I have or don't have or this or that.
Your career, your
all
bills.
All of it just sort of went away. I was just free. I just live my life. Whatever I got left, I'm completely free. But I said to him, there's that song about, 8 seconds and a bull named Fu Manchu, right? Live like you're dying. Well, you can't live like you're dying because you got bills to pay. Right. So you can't be irresponsible and just quit your job and then all of a sudden just, I'm just going to live my life, because you do have your normal life that you need to live. And he said, I got it. So think of it like two machines that are moving. One machine that's going through the day-to-day, every day, go to work, make the money, pay the bills, enjoy your life. And then there's the other part of this machine that needs to move as well. And that one needs to be given special attention. And that one is about gratitude and enjoying your life and trying to balance the stress and strain of the one machine and being able to really take care of the other one. He goes, my machine that is the day-to-day is coming to an end because I'm going to pass away shortly. And now I really recognize how much I should spend taking care of the other part of the machine, right? You know, that balance between the two. And most people just work and work and work and work. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, now I'm going to retire and live a good life. And then sometimes when the disease comes along, all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, now I get a second chance at life.
Yeah.
Well, why should you need the disease? Why should you need to find out that something's terrible is happening to you for you suddenly to wake up and live that life?
And isn't it most people's kind of like deathbed regret is that I just focus too much
Nobody
on
ever says, I wish I went to work more.
Yeah, exactly. You focus too much on the things that don't matter and not enough time on family or fun, you know, things that actually make lasting memories.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd come home or come to work today and go, well, I got diagnosed, so now I'm going to do all these things that I said I was going to do.
we got to get
The fourth one I can't read on
I
the air.
know, you're saying, and you told me what it is, and no, you cannot read that on the air. That being said, I think the rest of the list might be fun to go through.
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. But it was the doctor was great. He was a really interesting guy, and he said, "Listen, if you do those 5 things, if you sleep, get plenty of sleep, if you reduce your stress, if you exercise, and you try to stop eating processed food, and you have a nice social network of people that you care about and that are with you, and you're socializing," he says you're going to avoid a lot of the big bad stuff.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Look at me." He goes, I don't take any of that advice. I'm obese and I got all these problems. I'm like, you're a doctor. Why can't you?
What is it with the doctor?
Isn't it strange?
Yeah, they're all smoking and.
Well, he wasn't smoking, but he was like, yeah, I should probably take my own advice. But I was feeling really down, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, but if I knew. So part of me, this sounds really strange.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, if I knew I had it, then I was like, okay, there's the finish line. When people run a 5K, it's the last 300 yards, the fastest they run because they see the finish line, right? So it's that same sort of thing. Well, who wants to all of a sudden be given a death sentence or be given something that's going to, directly affect their ability to have cognitive processing and to be able to move and have balance and enjoy your body, right?
Yeah.
So it's this wake-up call to try to have that balance.
But part of you was wishing that
Because then I would know, okay, well then now, boy, I better get going.
then you'd be free.
Yes! Why can't I free myself?
Yeah.
There's a great story about the Buddha is walking with this guy, and the guy's complaining about all these problems. And the Buddha's listening, and the Buddha pauses for a moment. He says, pick up that stick over there, no, not that little one. Pick the bigger one up. And he picks the bigger one up, and he's holding it, and he's carrying it. He goes, no, go ahead. Keep saying, what are the problems what you're saying? So the man's carrying this big, heavy stick, and he's complaining to Buddha about these problems that he has in his life, and then the Buddha says to him, "One moment, how's that log you're carrying? Oh, it's very heavy. It's very heavy." He goes, "Well, then throw it away." So he throws it away, and then the Buddha says the same thing with your problems, right? That there will be pain, right? That you have to accept that. Yes, there will be pain, and this too shall pass, right? So rather than carrying the heavy problems, just let them go. Let them go.
They say pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
Yeah, because how you choose to deal with the pain, right? That's the big part of it. All right. Do we have any news other than me not having Parkinson's as best I know it?
Not yet.
Don't say that. Gee whiz.
Hey, I want you to be free.
Big shout out to the people at the Northwest Parkinson's Foundation. The lady's really nice.